Hello everyone, I'm back, which means that we have a lot of things to talk about because it's been about 3 weeks since my last video and a lot has happened actually. And even though I haven't updated you through video, I was always active on the Discord to give you the trades that I was taking. Main things that happened, we reached a new all-time high on Bitcoin, which was at about 125,000 almost. And as I always warned you, the thing that I look at the most when Bitcoin is at all-time high is a failed auction, which is when we go above all-time high, which is this, and we basically spend a little bit of time above it, so this is about a day, and then go back below it. And that for me is the trigger for a short trade. So on August 14th, I wrote in my Discord, I'm hedged short on Bitcoin. And that's because, as I've mentioned, we were chilling above all-time high, and then the next 4-hour candle closed below. That triggers a short trade. And this is very unfortunate because I was actually on a plane, so I could not get the exact top. Otherwise, I would have shorted at about 123. But either way, I was lucky enough to open my short trade at 121,000. And at the moment, we are trading about $10,000 below that. So whenever we have a failed auction like this, that is a short trade every single day of the week. I will not miss such a short trade. And as you can see, for now, it has paid pretty well. This was actually a 1-to, as of now, this has been a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio, which is great. And to be honest, I'm actually still expecting lower lows. So I would like to see a move to about 107K, but I will talk about this later. So what else happened? We had Ethereum reaching about $5,000. My target was actually between 4.6 and 5,000, which I would say is pretty perfect. You had a lot of time also to take profit all the way up here. You had once again an opportunity to take profit here, and that is exactly what I did. I did not close fully my position, but as you can see, my Ethereum spot position, I now have $30,000 of realized profit, which means that I've closed $30,000 worth of profit, and I still have 22,000 open, which I am gonna keep open for now, because I do expect Ethereum to go back above $5,000 at one point. This is a very big psychological number. A lot of people that went short will have all their stop loss at around 5,000. So it is very likely, especially with Ethereum looking like this, with a very bullish chart, to go back above 5,000 and take out the psychological number and all the liquidity of the people that took a short. Because as you can see, also this was valid. We had the all-time high, and this is the exact same thing as Bitcoin. There's actually an SFP on the 4 hours, but if you go on a lower time frame, you can see that we went above all-time high and basically did a failed auction. So once we were back below it, this would have triggered a short trade. I personally didn't take it, but this would have been valid. So yeah, I'm holding on to my position, and I was actually interested in taking a long right here. Unfortunately, we missed this by about $20, so I did not get my alert, and I did not take a long trade. But if we get another move down on Bitcoin, as I was saying, to about 107, it is possible that we can still see, this is a lower high, so maybe we put in a lower high again here, proceed to take my level, and then we can get the move up. Either way, I'm not in a hurry to add on to my position. I still have a big enough position, so for me it's not a problem. But if you don't have a long, this is the area where I would look for one. Same thing, by the way, for Ethereum and BTC. I had given you at first a 4.6K target and this area on the ETH BTC graph. And this is actually where, as you can see, we had the first pit stop. So we hit the weekly rejection, then we went to the monthly, chilled a bit above it, failed to reclaim it. If you remember, at this point, we had a big crash on the altcoins, and then just, last week, we started pumping again. So this was a perfect pit stop that I had given you. And technically, since we have reclaimed this area, I would expect for this area to be touched eventually, which would mean another 33%, which means that alts can still pump. And then I think if we can reclaim this area, as I've mentioned before, that's when we can expect really a big surge. Let's say maybe the trigger to an alt season, but we shall see. Let's take things step by step. And by the way, I did say on Ethereum to keep an eye out for an SFP or a failed auction for a short, and that's actually what happened. So if you just listened to this comment and you looked at the graphs yourself, you could have shorted the top on Ethereum. But anyways, last thing I wanted to show you was this trade on NEO. I was saying just before August, as you can see, that I started a position on NEO. I actually talked about this in one of my videos recently when NEO was still about 4.6. And I was telling you that I was starting to build a position on NEO. And I said, once we put in a good low, I'll move my stop loss up. And actually, NEO has had a massive pump. It was pretty obvious around 5 that the low was in. So you could have moved your stop loss below this low at 435. And already this, at this point right now, this would have given you a 1 to 11 trade, which means you could have risked $1,000 and you would have made $11,000, which is amazing. So actually I took another take profit here at this daily level, 6.81. I took profit right here, which was a big resistance. And then I took more profit right here, right now actually. So as you can see, I sold at 554, about 1/3 of the position at the time, where I took about 1.5k profit, and then just now I sold at 6.7, another 500 units, and for now I'm holding the rest. As you can see, the profit is 4.2k, and right here I took about 2.5k. So that was, let's say, $7,000 of profit, because this is in euros. If we do flip this level and get acceptance above 7.15, I do expect for this to move up to 7.8 to 8.5. If we do flip this area, which I would not really even worry about at the moment, then we can expect obviously much higher. Probably $10, I would say. So yeah, let's take things step by step, but for now, really great trade. I would move my stop loss honestly about 5.4, and that would make sure that you have a really nice profitable trade whatever happens next. So now let's look at the current situation that we have on Bitcoin. As I said, this was the short trade. We then had a really nice long trade that we did take, at least I did, and I hope you did too. So it was right here, it was off of this SFP. I was actually at the beach and I saw this range forming, and right here we took the low, which by the way also took this liquidity here, and from there we had massive pump to the upside. This was actually caused by Jerome Powell speaking, so obviously yeah, the SFP was very technical, but the massive pump was caused by Jerome saying that next month they do expect a cut on the rates. Which is also why I wouldn't really count it. As you can see here, we had like always lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And then obviously with the news, we got a break of structure, but I wouldn't really consider it because of the news. And as you can see, we went back to getting lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And the reason why I think perhaps, even though we had a really nice reaction here, perhaps we still have not put the low, is because the market structure is still bearish. So even if we bump here to, let's say, 111.2 to this naked point of control, I mean, what stops us from putting a lower high to then just proceed to a new low? So yeah, I'm definitely not longing for now. If you had to long, I would say it had to be right here, or maybe about 109, but I don't really want to long at 110. I rather miss the long, since also I'm exposed to altcoins. So actually what I'm interested in would be a short trade, if anything, right here around this area. If we get a nice reaction, this is more of an intraday thing if we are to pump there today. If not, if I wasn't in a short trade from 121, the next area that I would look for is 115, because obviously if we reclaim this area, we can expect to move to 115. And if we do reclaim 115, the next interesting point where we always have to check reactions would be 118. But for now, in my opinion, Bitcoin is not looking the best. Could we have put the low? Of course, yes. We have this value area high from this range that is holding as support for now. So yeah, maybe this is the low, maybe we pump, but for me, I rather wait for this big point of support right here between 108 and 107. I think this could be a really good long trade. So let's say something like this. With invalidation, we always wait, remember, for the wick, and then we can target a new all-time high perhaps, or maybe 118 or whatever it will be. We always have to check the reactions at each level. But yeah, this is, for me, is the only interesting long trade that I will be taking, unless here we do a little bit of a range or we start shifting market structure. Then I can consider a long trade a bit higher, or perhaps if we get back into the range above 115, there I can consider a long trade. But for now, as I said, the only interesting point is right here. And do keep in mind that if we do lose 107, so if instead of doing this, we actually flip it into resistance, then to be honest, I would expect to move to 96,000, perhaps even, yeah, perhaps even low 90s, because that would look really bearish for Bitcoin. So for bullish continuation, what we want to see is for this area to hold. So if we want bullish continuation, it's really important to see this area hold like this, then we can expect a pump. If not, again, I do expect Bitcoin to go to much lower targets, put in a new low compared to here. And yeah, this is looking pretty good, about 96,000. So here I will be taking a big position with the right reaction at the level. So yeah, that's it for Bitcoin. As I already said, Ethereum, I would like this level, and I think eventually we'll take out 5,000. Hopefully this is the low, and we can just proceed to go above 5,000. For now, I'm not gonna cover any altcoins, other than maybe Hype, which I'm still in. As you can see, I took 2.7K profit. I still have 600 open. And I do still expect $50 to be taken out, which is taking a while. We came really close to it right here for 49.49, which is a shame because I was literally just waiting for $50. But it's whatever, I'm patient, I'm willing to hold. And yeah, for altcoins, I will cover them in a future video. So if you have any requests, you can text me in the Discord. You can leave a comment below this video, and in the next one, I will cover them. So thank you very much, and see you in the next one.